So, lads, today we are going to be talking about Bronny James again. And, lads, it's getting ridiculous. The entire situation around Bronald is getting absolutely ridiculous. And I genuinely, I mean that. Like, it's getting crazy. But anyway, before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are only like 50 subscribers off getting to 6.5K. That's our goal by the end of the month. We're obviously not going to hit 7K. It's one day in it. We're definitely not going to do that. But like, we are uploading as many videos as possible. Like, I'm in my parents. I got to go coach a game a little bit later. And I don't know, like, I'm here and I mean, I can prove some things. I got I don't know how much it proves my old national team jacket in here. And back when I used to be good at the sport of basketball. But either way, we're going to be talking about Bronny James. And if my camera goes off, I'm going off like a really old MacBook because I forgot the charger for my laptop. But Bronny James got recalled to the Lakers. So I saw this from Athlon Sports. And look, I'm never like... It's one of those things where I always double check on some of these websites to see whether or not like it's true. To see how true something is. So you can see here, heel injury kept Bronny James out for the South Bay Lakers' recent home game. And it says following the 5-game stretch, the Lakers announced on Friday he'd been recalled from the G League. Oh dear Lord, my camera's going all over the place. So I'm going to just probably go on a picture. But from Trevor Lane, Lakers say they've recalled Bronny James from the South Bay Lakers. So basically, while the G League team have a home stretch of games, he's injured. Like, even if he is actually injured, they couldn't have done a worse job of it. They could not have done a worse job of this entire situation if you are the Lakers. Like, making it seem like this injury is completely fabricated. Because suddenly, he's now healthy enough to go back to the Lakers, but, like, he's now injured during their homestand. So a guy who's only playing home games, who people are accusing you guys of trying to, like, make sure he doesn't play basketball, he is conveniently injured for all the home games, and then as soon as they're playing away games, which he's not playing anyway, he's now healthy. So as soon as he doesn't, it's not a bad look for him not to play basketball. Suddenly he's healthy and now he's back with the Lakers. But just as they go on a 4-game, by the way, they went on a 4-game stand where it was, or a 5-game streak, was it? No, I think he played the first of the 5. But they went on a 5-game stand where it was home, away in San Diego, which is a 2-hour drive away, home. And ironically, he somehow picks up an injury after the first of those games. And now we're looking at Bronny James suddenly back with the Lakers. Like, what is happening? What is actually happening when it comes to Bronny James? Like, it's actually getting ridiculous. And again, this is not a knock on Bronny James, the person. A lot of people are like, oh, you're hating on Bronny James. No, I'm hating on everything around. I'm hating on the situation. I'm hating on the Lakers. I'm hating on LeBron. I'm hating on everything around this situation because it's not right. Simply put, it is not right what is happening around Bronny James. And it's sad. It's so sad from the Lakers' perspective. Like, the kid just wants to play basketball. And ironically, he will never play. And I mean this. I said this during the Bryce James video when I'm like, Bryce, do not go to he's on a visit for Arizona. And I'm like, do not go to Ohio State. Do not go to Arizona. Don't go to any team that has any shot of being good because you will never play another meaningful minute of basketball for the rest of your life. And I mean that. That's the thing with Bryce James. It's like Bryce James could have a really good career if he played D2. If he went to a mid-major, he would have a iffy D1 career. Like, he would play a few minutes here and there. Maybe by the time he's a senior, crack the rotation. Like, that's the reality of Bryce James as a D1 player. Like, he's not a D1 he's not a good D1 prospect. He's mid-major at best. And people are telling him, oh, go to Arizona, oh, he's league ready and all this. And I'm like, man, we've already made the mistake. And now with Bronny James, because we've seen what's happened. Everything bad that's happened with Bronny James is directly caused from LeBron James, the LeBron James quote in 2018. When Bronny James, in fairness to him, he was supposedly a really good 13-year-old. But again, being really good at 13 means nothing. It means nothing. Yeah, you might still be pretty good at 16, 17, but then everyone else gets better. And if you don't, it doesn't matter. Like Mikey Williams was better than Bronny James at every level. Better in middle school, they were on the same team. better in high school, and has he even played in college? His basketball career is done. And Mikey Williams, in fairness, like Bronny James stayed out of trouble. Bronny James, like, again, he's a good kid. But being a good kid does not mean you're an NBA player. And what the Lakers are doing to him is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. They're treating him like he's the mascot. They're treating him like he's a sideshow, like he's just there to sell jerseys. Like, they're treating him like he's Calvin Cambridge and he won a spot on an NBA team because he cooked their star player in a halftime show. Where he's just there for show. He's just there for show. Like, that's literally it. And the reality of the situation is that I'll talk a bit more at some other stage about like the Gilbert Arenas podcast, but they're right. They're like, well, who's more important to the team? The 55th pick that doesn't really play and like just plays where they should be in the G League, or Bronny James who sells a bunch of jerseys and has a bunch of kids really interested in watching him. And I'm like, that is true, but like, if that's the case, why not call up Julian Newman? I'm not joking. And yes, Bronny James is way better than Julian Newman at basketball. I'm not saying that. But like, I'm just trying to think of like someone who could be better than Bronny James. I'm trying to think just an average player. Like college D1 player. Like, there are so many guys. Like Ovi Soko, if you guys are English. The guy was in Love Island. He played ACB in Spain. He was pretty decent for London Lions. Way better than Bronny James. But, like, he was a celebrity more than he was a basketball player. Ovi Soko is, if they want to call up Ovi Soko to try to get English people to watch the NBA, it would be the equivalent of doing something like that, pulling a stunt like that. Like, it's a publicity stunt. It is the first time we've seen this prolonged publicity stunt. And it's getting weirder. Like, I don't know if he faked an injury. I'm not going to accuse Bronny James of faking an injury. I'm not. But it looks like it. Like, yes, there are conspiracy theories that he faked the injury. And every single day that passes, it looks more and more likely that those conspiracy theories are correct. That's the craziest part about all this, is as time goes on, it gives merit to those conspiracy theories. And look, I don't want to like, bash Bronny. Like, if Bronny James played at the level that he was, as in, if he played, heck, even if he was a 4-year guy at USC, by the end, he could be a decent D1 player. He didn't look... USC was probably a level a bit too high for him, but he didn't look that bad. He's still a D1 player. And the problem is that we've seen all the bad things that happened with Bronny. And we're now going to see it again. But, like, he's being called back to the Lakers. They're doing everything they can to make sure this guy does not play basketball. They want to make sure he is sitting on that Lakers bench as much as possible. They're making sure he does not play basketball. And also, they're making sure the man doesn't leave LA. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, he's literally the mascot. He is the mascot. He does not go to away games for either teams. I've never seen that before. Like, if the G League team have an away stretch, he's with the Lakers. If the Lakers team have 2 away games in a row, he's with the Lakers. I mean, he went to Cleveland, I guess, just because it was Cleveland where he was born. But then all of a sudden, you're going to see him back. I reckon you're going to see Bronny James suddenly back then with the G League, when the Lakers go and play 3 away games in a row. And then what happens when both teams are away? Does he just chill at home? Is that his job? Like, because he's there to sell tickets for the G League team. I don't think he'll play in a G League game for the rest of the year. He's that bad. But I also don't think that with the Lakers situation, he'll play another away game. He is there so that fans can chant, "We want Bronny" at the end of the game and be the 15th man. And I would think less badly of this if he just traveled with the Los Angeles Lakers everywhere. But this whole situation, again, it gets stopped. It would have gotten stopped if instead of drafting him 55th and giving him the 4-year guaranteed contract and not signing him to a 2-way, if you just let him go undrafted, doesn't get drafted, so it's like, oh, Jesus, Bronny didn't get drafted. You sign him with the Summer League team. He did enough in Summer League that you can justify. He doesn't have to be better than X, Y, and Z player, but he just has to be competent enough to justify getting certain things. He did well enough in Summer League to justify giving him an Exhibit 10 contract. He did well enough in preseason to justify a 2-way. In fairness, he had one good preseason game. He was awful in the other games, but he had one good one, enough to justify a 2-way. Not that he should have gotten 2-ways over other players, but enough that you can say, look, he played well 17 points in his game, so we can give him a 2-way. And then while he's on a two-way, which means he's between both teams, then you can put him on the team for the moment and you send him back to the G League, let him play in the G League, do all that stuff. But the reality of the situation is that Bronny James is not a basketball player. And I think people need to accept that. Bronny James is the Los Angeles Lakers mascot. He is not a basketball player. We've seen it. They tried to play him in the NBA. He was not good enough. They tried to play him in the G League. He's not good enough. Bronny James, they got to get their money's worth because he's on a 4-year guaranteed deal. Bronny James currently is not a basketball player. He is the mascot.